Hello, one and all. This is Nick Falgett, jumping into a Scars besieged 8-4. Though you won't believe me, there were 6 drafters when I started this recording. So, yeah, it got awkward. I'm going to go ahead and pause it until we get some more. There's 5. Okay, so we're at 7. Should be firing off any minute now. Any second now, even. So yeah, I have been playing around on various sim drafting sites trying to figure out if some kind of burn deck is going to work out in this format, based on the late availability of cards like Concussive Bolt and Necrogen Sensor and Volshock Replica. And I just tried to make that deck work, but I ran into a buzzsaw named Tezzeret, Agent of Bolus. And that thing is not that easy to beat. So, we actually did beat it one game. And this is the card that I opened last time. White Sun Zenith. And it's pretty good. But the white deck didn't feel all that powerful, which is kind of unfortunate. This is an interesting pack. I mean, there's clearly the Zenith. There's a Choking Fumes and a Master's Call, both of which I feel are relatively powerful. There's a Burn the Impure, which is the only real powerful piece of removal in the pack. There's a Serum Raker, and I think it's between the Raker, the Burn, and the White Sun Zenith. If you were intent on forcing Infect, you would take this Rot Wolf, obviously. But I'm not. I am torn. White-red did not feel all that powerful, but I love white-blue. But passing this Raker and getting the Infuser back doesn't feel so great. But maybe the problem is I was trying to do a little too aggressive. I mean, I think the Zenith is powerful enough that, I was happy to cast it whenever I did. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to let recent history dictate what happens to me. And this is kind of a bummer because I am headed down the same road. Into the Core is a lot better than anything else staring back up out of this pack at me. I love the living weapons, especially love Strandwalker. And I may make that pick, just because red felt really awkward to me. But it's also possible I should just switch into red and ignore this, of course. There's no white in this pack, really. Partisan is fine. And then there's another Raker, but I don't think the Raker is quite on par with the Strandwalker at the end of the Core. I would probably even take the Blister Stick Shaman here before I would take the Serum Raker. Is he wearing a monocle? Or is it an eye patch? Anyway. I don't want to end up in red again. Although this is a powerful card. White, red felt weak to me in the last draft. And I'm going to take the Strandwalker because I have a triple white card and I don't want a double red card to go along with it. So, that means that we don't want to draft red because we just passed 2 good red cards. But this is the card. This is the card you want to see early and often in this hypothetical burn deck that I have been concocting in my head. So, there are, again, there's no white card here. There's a Nested Ghoul, which I have yet to play with, but which I hear good things about. There's a Dross Ripper, which is pretty good in the same kind of deck. There's another Rot Wolf, but I don't think I want to go down that route. Or I could start trying to stake a claim in blue with one of these 3 guys. Oculus, I think, is pretty far below Skimmer and Sabotage. I'm going to go ahead and take the Steel Sabotage, which I think is the most powerful of the 3 cards. Possibly Nested Ghoul is better, but I have a little bit of a bias toward white-blue, and here we see why. There's a Serum Raker in the pack. There's also this Mirror Welder, and I've seen a lot of people main decking this guy, and I'm interested. I'm interested in him as a dude. He's a 1/4. It's a fine blocker, obviously. Obviously 3 picks into the draft, I don't have a ton of ways to abuse him yet. But I've heard, rumors of him turning into a Mindslaver. Heard rumors of him turning into, obviously he turns into any replica or anything your opponent plays. But I think Serum Raker is going to be the pick here. I want to start cutting blue a little bit, and I prefer it to the Commando by quite a bit. Master's Call by a little bit less, and certainly I don't want to take Sphere of the Suns in that spot. Here the choice is probably between Rusted Slasher and Flare Husk. Slasher is a card that I really like and lends itself really well to the decks that I like to draft, with a lot of interactions with Wellspring and Mirror. But without any of those, he's just a 4-cost dude. And something I've been noticing is that you often end up pretty expensive at the end of pack 1. That was certainly true in the last draft that I did. And I think a blue-white deck, which is what we're sort of shaping up. I mean, this card is still looking kind of awkward. But I don't think we want Vivisection here without early drops. I think we want Flare Husk, which qualifies as an early drop and will let us take future Vivisections without batting an eyelash. This is a pretty good sign. There's both Gus Skimmer and Leonid Skyhunter. I'm going to take the Skyhunter, which is kind of iffy because it's pretty prospective. Probably, yeah. I mean, we want to be in white to play this guy. We don't need to be in blue, but we are sort of, it's going to be a lot easier to splash the blue. I mean, to steal, well, not that we have cards worth splashing totally, but Gus Skimmer is pretty close in a deck that's gonna, well, I mean, it's a 2-1 for 2, but the flying is conditional, so. I really like this guy. I think he's cool. I'm really happy that they printed cards like this and Vidalcan Anatomist, which make you wonder how to effectively use seemingly negative abilities to your benefit. Why would I want to regenerate the creature? Why would I want to untap a creature if I put a -1/-1 counter on it? So I'm going to try this guy. I think it's better than, it's a fair bit better than Mirror and Spy in this spot, and it's probably on par with Vivisection. Because again, we are, we don't really want to sacrifice this germ. We'll be fine to sack this germ. Vivisection is a card that people, is pretty powerful in the right deck, but, if you have to sacrifice a creature that is not designed to be sacrificed, it's going to be pretty weak. I'm going to take the Razorfield Rhino out of this pack. Otherwise, it's not a particularly good pack. Training Drone is pretty far below the Rhino. I want this card to be better than I think it is, but that's a discussion for another draft. And that Choking Fumes and that Vidalcan Infuse are tabled. Since we're not 100% committed to blue, but we would like to be 100% committed to white, we're going to take the Choking Fumes. Also because I haven't actually played with the Fumes yet, and I need to be convinced that it's as bad, if not worse, than Spence Justice. So I'm going to do that. The Infuser is a card that, I've seen work interestingly. I have kept the Tumble Magnet going for many turns with it. And, just a big butt. But again, we want to keep ourselves pretty flexible in case we open something nuts in the next pack. Bladed Sentinel's the pick here. It's not particularly close. That Predation is something to keep in mind that went pretty late, so it looks like maybe we have fewer Infect Drafters at this table than I am used to, because that card is very good in Infect. That is the pump spell I'm now more playing around. I find myself playing around the card more than even like Untamed Might, because, Untamed Might is more relevant when you can't block. Oh no.